that due to the very, very excellent performance so far of John Dramani Mahama, Ghanaians are asking him to seek a third term. I know that. I know that because I read on social media, I listen to conversations, and Ghanaians believe that as a result of the good deeds of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, they don't want him to leave the presidency.
They believe a third term is possible.
And they believe that a third term is possible. And they are demanding for a third term. But John Dramani Mahama has not given any indication that he...
Live on Zimbo TV GAC in our studio here at the Bala Junction. This is our news bulletin, and we're bringing you topmost news across the country. And the first one has to do with the Transport Minister Joseph Nikpe has called for discipline and strict adherence to road regulations as a temporary but critical measure to reduce congestion and accident during the festive season, stressing that responsible driving is a key to saving lives and keeping traffic moving.
We can do something and we will do something. It has to start with us, the discipline that we have to attach to our daily activities. If you are a driver having a vehicle that is not strong enough to speed at a certain rate and create space, you use the outer lane. If you are a trotro driver and you go and park at the middle of the road to pick passengers, definitely you create some delays. And we as a people will have to begin to look at the re-engineering of our routes. Most of these routes have been in existence for God knows when. And it is time that we re-engineer them. And like I said,
Dominic Ayine, the Attorney General, breaks down how LPG presidential candidate Percival Kofi Akpaloo allegedly took over funds from First Bank Ghana and why this case goes beyond politics into accountability and the rule of law.
Universal Ghana Limited, a business entity owned entirely by a lady called Ekua Poma, was the legitimate contractor that was awarded a feeder roads contract by Cocoa Board. The contract, which was valued at 29.5 million Ghana cedis, was awarded in December 2020. Although the project commenced and an initial amount was properly deposited into Poma Universal Ghana Limited, subsequent payments raised serious concerns regarding misrepresentation, forgery, and unauthorized handling of the checks. Our investigations revealed that Akpaloo secretly incorporated another company, separate and distinct from Poma Universal Ghana Limited, also known as Poma Universal Ghana Limited, but deliberately added H to the Poma. So Poma is P-O-M-A-A, all right, Ghana Limited, which is a company which is owned by Ekua Poma. What the company that he incorporated added H to the Poma, so it became, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the same Poma, yeah, Poma Ghana Limited, Universal Ghana Limited. But the difference was just the H at the end of Poma. And so after having done this, between December 2022 and June 2024, Akpaloo collected 8 checks issued by Cocoa Board in the name of Poma Universal Ghana Limited. That is the original and authentic Poma, totaling 3.1 million. That is 3,169,432 Ghana cedis and 22 pesos, and deposited them into the account of his own company, that is also Poma Ghana Limited with an H at First Bank Ghana Limited.
Let's now take you to Parliament, where Parliament has risen, and the Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga, in his concluding statement as Parliament rises, says citizens are calling for a third term due to the President's excellent performance, but emphasized that the final decision rests with the people.
So, that due to the very, very excellent performance so far of John Dramani Mahama, Ghanaians are asking him to seek a third term. I know that. I know that because I read on social media, I listen to conversations, and Ghanaians believe that as a result of the good deeds of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, they don't want him to leave the presidency.
They believe a third term is possible.
And they believe that a third term is possible. And they are demanding for a third term. But John Dramani Mahama has not given any indication that he wants to go for a third term. But I have always said that Ghanaians will be the ultimate deciders of the future of this country. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, why do I say that? Please pay attention. Why do I say that? Next doors in the Côte d'Ivoire, the opposition leaders came to me when I was in the ECOWAS Parliament and complained that the president there wanted to go for a third term. And they were calling on us in West Africa to support them, to oppose and prevent the president from going for a third term. So I asked them, the president who is seeking for a third term, is he going to put a ballot box in front of the citizens and ask them to vote for him to go for the third term, or is going to wake up early morning and announce that he is continuing for a third term? And they said there will be an election to determine whether or not he should go for the third term. And I said, go and fight him at that election. Go and fight him at that election. Go and fight him at that election. Mr. Speaker, that is why I say that ultimately, it will be the Constitution, the institutions, and the citizens of Ghana who will determine the future of our country. Mr. Speaker, your guidance and leadership have ensured that our legislative process, though often cumbersome, were conducted within the bounds of parliamentary decorum and democratic responsibility. Why are you afraid of a third term? Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid?
Away from that, the Constitution Review Committee has presented a set of far-reaching reforms proposals to President John Dramani Mahama. Key among them, the extension of the presidential term of office from 4 to 5 years. The committee, led by its chairman, Professor Kwesi Prempeh, argued that the current 4-year term was too short and below the globe and regional norm. The proposal is coupled with a recommendation to establish a definite, legally bounded campaign season to curb perpetual electioneering and allow government more time to govern.
However, we believe we took to heart the recommendations that we got from many of the eminent persons that we met, including some who have occupied your seat, that the 4-year term was short. It was too short. And we also then learned that the emerging global norm was 5. And that even in the region, we in Nigeria have the lowest. I mean, 4 is pretty low. So we're proposing an extension by 1 more year.
Government is set to prosecute Wontumi Farms Limited and its directors for defrauding by 4 pretenses, forgery, and causing financial loss to the state in excess of 24 million Ghana cedis. Chairman Wontumi Bernard Besiako, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, is allegedly forged an amount of 4 million invoice obtained from Kasaman Enterprise by removing the word invoice and replacing it with receipt to deceive Exim Bank into believing that he had purchased farm equipment.
I mean, extradition is based upon certain legal principles, okay? Now, if the extraditor if the offense, for instance, does not fall within the ambit of the extraditable offenses provided under the treaty, it will be very difficult for the person to be extradited. Okay, if, for instance, there is a sense that persecution will take place rather than prosecution, that a person will not be treated fairly if extradited, it's most likely, extradition will not take place. If you cannot show by your extradition packet, that is the request that you have sent to the U.S., that the one that I have sent to the U.S., there is sufficient evidence, okay, to come to a conclusion, a reasonable conclusion that a crime has been committed, even though you still have the burden to prove that crime beyond reasonable doubt, all right, extradition may not be granted. So the basic point I want to make is that, yes, the principle of reciprocity applies, okay, and I would have been very happy to hand over Abutrika as I have done, okay, and then get Oforiata quickly in return, all right. But usually, the extradition proceedings take place in a court of competent jurisdiction. In our case, that is the district court, all right. In the U.S., it will also be the federal district court. Now, mind you, the person who is the subject matter of extradition will fight it in court. Okay, so the American authorities won't just take my request and say, here you are, here is Ken Oforiata, and then here is, his other accomplished, and you take them, and then they can face trial. It will have to go through court proceedings in the U.S., all right? And I just got to know, that he has hired some of the top, yesterday, I got to know that he has hired some of the top lawyers in the United States of America, very experienced lawyers, to, defend him. Now, I'm not afraid at all, all right? I am not afraid at all. But it means that there's going to be a fight in the federal courts in the U.S. If the district court says no, he will go to the circuit court, all right? If the circuit court says no, he's entitled to go to the U.S. Supreme Court to fight his case. So I cannot tell you that he will come tomorrow or he will come the next day, okay? And I'm just being honest. Accounting to the people means being explicit and truthful. So this is what, we are faced with. But I have, on behalf of the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we have taken the requisite steps to bring him to Ghana to face trial. And if I were him, this is his home. He should just join the next flight and come here. Under my watch, he will not be treated unfairly. He will go through due process and be prosecuted just like any other person, just like Kobina Edubohi or Hanan or any of the persons that I have filed charges against. Now,
Attorney General and Minister for Justice Dominic Ayine ending our bulletin with a hint of Ken Oforiata hiring top lawyers in US to fight his extradition. I am Peter Nate Agbayuma.